We talked about their sister country on Sunday. I do believe when it came to Australia, or not Australia, Austria, okay, and there's no extra L on there, but yes, Austria was locking down the unvaccinated because that's how this shit works, right? Well, Germany is also set to lock down the unvaccinated as well because it's only them who are getting infected, right? And it's all about, oh, we need to just mitigate the stress on our national health care system. Fucking weak shit. But yeah, no, this according to Barron's. Germany's federal and regional authorities are considering the reintroduction of severe restrictions only for unvaccinated population. Yes, as number of infections and deaths due to the coronavirus disease have reached a level unseen since last spring. Is it only exclusively the unvaccinated, though? Can you go ahead and tell us that? And once again, it's like there's done extensive work into figuring out who's transmitting this shit. But again, the people who have naturally recovered from this stuff hasn't been proven one way or another if they're the ones who are out there fucking spreading this shit like an STD through a whorehouse. It's really not kind of fucking matching up. The number of new infections reported on last week Tuesday, at 32,048 was up 47% compared with a month ago, while the number of deaths increased by 265% or amount? Like, what are we talking about here? The steepest jump since May. Lawmakers are preparing legislation that requires tests of proof of vaccination to go to work or use public transportation. Sweet. Why exactly? This is a reality, a lockdown for the unvaccinated that is on the way, the Social Democrat leader in the parliament said Tuesday. Heinrich Wurst, I agree. The premier of North Rhine-Westphalia, Germany's most populous state, asked this week that tough restrictions be imposed nationwide. Why? Ahead of a meeting he will chair Thursday, the country's 16 regional leaders. Decisions at the national level is, however, hindered by the fact that Germany for now, has a caretaker government, while political parties are still negotiating the terms of a future coalition. I'm not entirely sure how things are working out, but I think it's like a 3-party coalition that needs to be happening right now. So it's a lot of saber rattling. So it's not entirely sure when these restrictions are going to be put down because, let's be honest, they're coming. We just don't know for sure when it's going to be happening. But several German regions, notably the capital of Berlin, have already banned access to places such as cinemas, hairdressers, restaurants, and gyms for unvaccinated people because that makes sense. Germany has the lowest vaccination uptake in Europe, along with the UK, with only 67% of the population now fully vaccinated. Oh, okay, but what about the rest of the people who've either had it and recovered or just don't give a fuck? Now, lock down everyone, because this is not about your health, it's about compliance. And like I said, it was an inevitability. It's not really, oh my god, one party thinks that we should do this. No, it's just all of the fucking German population. And like I said, on Sunday when we talked about Austria, this isn't going to stay contained because Germany was kind of knocking around the idea, and then a couple of days later they were like, yeah, no, this is a good idea. So this is coming to a country near you because it doesn't matter if it works. They're just seeing how much shit they can get away with. A growing number of German politicians are backing the idea of the general COVID-19 vaccination obligation, with some ministers saying the measure would be a last resort option, but a possibility. Last resort? No, they just seem to be going gung-ho on this. Debates over the compulsory vaccination in Germany have accelerated after neighboring Austria recently imposed a full lockdown and also announced the plans to require COVID-19 vaccinations for the entire population as of February. Cool. Fuck your opt-outs. Germany's outgoing health minister Jens Spahn said on Tuesday that he does not rule out similar steps, although final decisions will depend from region to region. Oh, really? Because we just heard from somebody else that says that no, everybody, all places, all the time. Spahn, who has recently been hit with backlash over a comment he made on November 22nd, claiming by the end of winter, almost everyone in Germany would be either vaccinated, recovered, or dead. Oh, you're not supposed to say the quiet part out loud, but I get what you guys are trying to push anyways. Said making the shots a requirement is not a decision we can make today, but we're hopeful. more hopeful. But the possibility is not ruled out. Oh, okay, cool. Karl Lauterbach, a German scientist and member of the Social Democratic Party, argued during a talk show on TV station Bild, that the country must move towards vaccination obligation. Cool. Remember when it was 15 days to flatten the curve? Boy, doesn't that feel like 2 years ago. Oh, wait, it's almost there. Without compulsory vaccinations, we obviously won't achieve the vaccination rate that we need to get to. Cool. Again, natural immunity. Don't worry about that, though. It doesn't even fucking play anymore. All about compulsion. They even say it right there. It's an obligation now. Stefan Weil, a minister-president of Germany's Lower Saxony region, said making vaccines mandatory is a violation of physical integrity. Okay, I like this guy. And can thus only be implemented as a last resort option and should have to meet very important benchmarks. But I don't know how German policy works. I'm just, once again, them talking about last resorts, final resorts, final solutions, just always kind of rubs me the wrong way. But here we are. There's a legal dispute on this issue at the moment. Critics indicate 2 points. First of all, there's no long-term studies. Yeah, of course. And even if there are long-term studies, it's mostly focused on a group of like 38 individuals or some shit like that. Secondly, and this needs to be taken more seriously, mandatory vaccinations is a violation of physical integrity. And so it can only be a last resort, Weil said during a news conference news agency ANI reported. About 68% of the population, oh good, they've gone up another percent in the past few days. Good for them. With some 7.3% of citizens having already received a third shot. Oh good, because after it's compulsory to get fully vaccinated. And then we're going to shift what we mean by fully vaccinated, of course. The country is currently facing a fourth wave. Sure. Which prompted more politicians to back a government-imposed measure making COVID-19 vaccinations compulsory. Klaus Hotzlachek, Bavarian Minister of Health, said he previously was against making COVID-19 vaccinations a requirement for the general population, but he now believes officials must take this measure. Must talk about this measure, and only use it as a last resort. Cool, so now Bavaria is going to be hopping on board. Located in the southeast of Germany and is currently reported by health officials as one of the worst hit federal states in the country. So therefore you just need to use that as justification to impose very stringent methods across the rest of the country. That makes sense. I was always actually an opponent of compulsory vaccinations, but now that's changed because I just see that the power's on the table, so hey, if nobody else is going to take it, why not me? Personally, I am now actually in favor of this general vaccination obligation as a last resort. Cool. So he moved from no mandatory pokes ever to, okay, mandatory pokes only if it's a last resort. So what do you think's going to come off of that? You think the last resort disclaimer is going to eventually fall off in, I don't know, a couple of, I'd say months or weeks, but let's be honest, days or hours? Germany, it is regions rather than the federal government that have most of the powers to impose restrictions to rein in the COOF pandemic, the surge in infections, and potential fourth wave. Also comes at a time German Chancellor Angela Merkel is preparing to hand over leadership to a new government after a national election in September. Hence why this shit has taken so long to fucking flush out. I guess they have some sort of states' rights gimmick there as well, but yeah, we'll see how strong that is, because you remember when Joe tried to force the national vaccine mandate through OSHA? Yeah, I'm sure once they figure out the power structure in Germany, they won't hesitate to make wide-ranging changes for the rest of the population. It's not like they haven't done it before, and it's been about 80 years. So they're about due. U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention and State Department advised on November 22nd against travel to Germany. Oh, okay, cool. Like I care. Dozens of countries, including other EU nations, are currently in CDC's level 4 designation. Austria, UK, Belgium, Greece, Norway, Switzerland, Romania, Ireland, Slovakia, and the Czech Republic are on the list. Oh, shit, that sucks. But at least people are taking to the streets because, we're starting to figure out that 2 years, it's starting to become just a little bit too much. And if you're going to further restrict our rights, listen, there was a certain amount of deference people afforded the government, right? 15 days? Okay, listen, okay. national pandemic. You thought 30% of people who caught it were gonna fucking drop dead. So, okay, figure this shit out. And then after the 15 days, we just need another 15 days. And it's like, don't quite think so. Oh, okay, then wear your mask. Okay, then take off the mask. Okay, then put the mask back on, and then get the poke. And then once you got the poke, okay, then you can take off the mask. Oh, okay, once you got both pokes, then put back on the mask, because masks work all of a sudden. And it's like, oh, okay, and then there's a fourth wave. Oh, okay, and then no, we're on the tail end of the fourth wave. Oh, but if we don't stay diligent and we don't further enforce and flex our power on more people, there's going to be a fifth wave. And then, you know what we're going to do? We're just going to lock down the people who didn't care about that stuff and then may or may not have recovered from it before. We're going to punish them because there's no instances of breakthrough cases or anything like that for people who've been fully vaccinated. And the only people that spread the virus are the unvaccinated, right? That's what the science tells us, right? Right? Yeah, no, exactly. So yeah, I don't know. I see these protests and it warms my heart just a little bit, but then I always see that, weekend over weekend, these protests break out in Rome and Berlin and Paris, and they happen all over Europe, okay? And that's great, but they're heading into like their 10th, 12th, 19th consecutive week, and they still have vaccine passports. So what happens after this? I don't know. I can't speak to it, mostly because I don't call for incitement to violence, but I think you know where this all leads. 2022 is going to be a very interesting year. We'll leave it at that. With that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.